Hi again, it's Mary Jane or MJ here, normal Aussie mum of 3 school-aged kids, coming to terms with the fact that our Australia and in fact our world is not perhaps ruled by or run by people who have our best interest at heart, but most importantly, coming up with really simple, achievable things we can do to change that. So today, as promised, I'm going to share one simple thing that right now you can do to stop all your fear and worry. Are you ready? Here it is. Turn off the TV news. In fact, any news, radio, on your phone, however you get your mainstream media news, turn it off. So probably, like me, until last year, you might have thought, look, if it's on TV, it's got to be true, right? Independent journalism, all that stuff. So let's have a look at that. At the beginning of the year, when the madness began, what was the media telling us? Look, I don't know about you, but I thought it was weird. In Australia, across all networks, and even around the world, there was this one single storyline. Stay at home, keep your distance, use sanitizer, stay away from anybody, especially old people. Oh, you can't go near them, be isolated, flatten the curve. Oh, we've done that now, so what do? Something else. Do what you're told is a big one. And everything has this undertone of fear and worry. But more than that, at the beginning of the year, there was zero mention of just normal basic human health. Nobody talked about eating well, drinking good clean water, breathing fresh clean air, getting exercise, thinking happy thoughts, looking after your loved ones, especially your elderly, making sure people are not isolated, and reducing toxins, for example, junk food and alcohol. In fact, the media story that was backing up the government's narrative was along the lines of, well, we're going to shut the gyms, you can have only limited access to outside, vitamin D in the sun, but you can have junk food and alcohol delivered to you. So it seemed to me that, in fact, the whole setup was designed to make us sicker. So it just didn't make sense. And now, many, many months later, where we can look up government websites easily and see the actual statistics, we can see that 99.9% of people recover from whatever it is they're telling us they're catching. This is arguably better than the normal flu, I believe. In fact, the normal flu seems to have disappeared. That's odd. Sure, still elderly and people with comorbidities are dying, and that's very sad. But the rest of us, 99.9+%, are recovering without any assistance. So, have you been hearing that on the mainstream news? I mean, that's a great news story. Isn't that fantastic news? I mean, we should be celebrating the news, should be celebrating it. But what are we being told? If anything, some places like Victoria and now Adelaide are being locked up and threatened openly with do what you're told or there'll be no family Christmas for you. Right, so back at the beginning when I saw what the media was doing, what it does best, which is lie for whoever controls it, whoever controls the government, it must be the same people, I went to a trusted source because I knew I couldn't trust what I was hearing. I went to a trusted source and through that I found lots of others. I'll list some of my favourites down below, but ultimately how I figure out what's going on now is I go to government official websites, look at the data, and then work out what's really going on for myself. And then occasionally, if I can bear to or happen to come across the news, I said compare it with that, and clearly the story or the narrative is very different. So it's clear to me that what's going on is nothing to do with human health and everything to do with getting us to do what we're told, to be happy with being controlled, even if it is against common sense and our better judgment or our natural instinct. There's a great 4.5-minute video called Noam Chomsky, 5 Filters of the Mass Media Machine. I'll leave the link below. It's well worth the watch and it explains exactly how the media does this. So have a look. Right, so my call to today, my call to action today is simply this. Turn off your mainstream media news. It takes no time, and in fact, it will make you time. Now, if you have 5 minutes to spare, there's another action you can do, which is to let them know. Go to any news site that you've decided not to watch anymore, and where you can make a public comment, like on Facebook or YouTube or Twitter or anywhere else they have public comments available, and just tell them that you are no longer going to watch them, and tell them why. This will hit them where it hurts, money. Their ad sponsors will not be happy when they see their audience is diminishing. No less income revenue. In the case of the ABC, it won't make the government happy, so double bonus. If you have a subscription like I did with Netflix, when they released Cuties, and I wrote to Netflix asking them what their stance on pedophilia was, and they responded, "We respect cultural differences," click, delete. I unsubscribed. They were a little bit shocked, but there were tens of thousands of us who unsubscribed to Netflix then. I'm sorry, pedophilia is not a cultural difference. Now, what do you write in the comments? I'm sure you've got your own personal issue, like, for example, me not being able to see my mum in her aged care facility without being forced to have a flu vaccine. Whatever your issue is, my strong recommendation would be to stick to something that no one can really argue about. I always focus on the 90-year suppression order of the police list of 28 alleged pedophiles, which include judges and a former Australian Prime Minister. Why? Because this is a documented in federal parliament, government-sponsored, media-supported pedophile corruption racket, a pedophile protection racket that no one can have issue with. No one can argue with it. If they do, they're either complicit, blackmailed, bribed, or just stupid. And my point of view on this is that if corruption and the complicit media is removed, all our other problems will be solved. So I always start with that one. So I'll leave a sample comment below. So if you just want to copy and paste that, you're welcome to. So turn your TV off and set yourself free. Having said that, I do like to kind of chillax sometimes in the evening and watch something on TV. So what I did when I deleted Netflix was I started watching The X-Files from the beginning. It's free on SBS in Australia. I'm not suggesting you do that. But what I would recommend you have a look at is the last series, which was made very recently. And in the 6 or so episodes, each one of them deals with a topic that we are living through right now. Very interesting. Have a look. Now I'm on to The Good Fight, which also talks about corruption in the judiciary system. Anyway, I'm a normal Aussie mum looking to do things, take action, to take Australia's control out of the hands of the corrupt networks of pedophile filth and their media lackeys who they're in bed with, and to create a new Australia that works for us, for you and me, normal, honest, hardworking, kind-hearted Australians. A new Australia for all of us. And I'd like to ask you to help me do that. Next time, probably in the last in this series, I'll talk about what all this is about. Why are we all being trained to shut up and do what we're told? See you then. Bye.